Hello, everyone. This is a very, very short lecture on popular persuasion phrases that I would like to encourage you to use in your debate speeches or in your meeting contexts, or if ever you are in a situation where you have to deal with any kind of high stakes communication scenario. Here is the document that I'm offering you as a kind of cheat sheet. And honestly, my suggestion would be either to print it physically and have it in front of you if you need it during your next speech situation, and then choose which phrase you like the most to use in a specific context. Or you can actually have it incorporated into the speech text that you are using. So there are two possibilities, and I'm going to leave that decision up to you. But these persuasion phrases are fantastic. They are as a result of a lot of research that has been done on the way politicians and other major and key stakeholders or communicators speak and around the world in an English speaking environment. So if you use these persuasion phrases, it will take your speaking in negotiation, high stakes environment to the next level. So I highly recommend it that you incorporate these phrases as much as you can. So let's have a look. It's very important in your presentations to demonstrate that you are indeed listening. And there's one, or here are some phrases that you could use. I'm sympathetic to that proposal. Now be careful, sympathetic, it needs to be pronounced with a th. And also it's a vos amis, this sympathetic. It means that I feel the importance of this proposal. It doesn't mean that you agree, but it means that you agree that it's an important proposal or an important suggestion to talk about. I feel your pain. 99% of politicians use this expression. And again, it means that you really do feel empathy towards the person that you're speaking to. For me, the issue is personal. You could say that this is very important for me, and in fact, on a personal level. It's a good talking point. This is a wonderful, nuanced phrase to mean that you say that yes, we should be talking about this, but not necessarily right now, right this instant. That's what that sort of means, if you want. So again, it's good to say that you're listening, but it's not necessary to talk about that right this moment. And so it's a good talking point. So again, it's a great way to even answer a question. Thank you for your question. Thank you for asking that. It's a good talking point, but we can talk about that at another time if you want. Let's see, reformulating other people's views. These expressions are great. What I'm hearing is, I recommend that you use that to start any discussion in order to reformulate what you understood that the other person said. Those on the front line, that's a very typical political phrase. The people on the front line, those are the people who are getting the full brunt of the of the challenge, the real direct hit of the challenge. Now I know what you're thinking. That's a classic one. From what I hear, people are struggling. You can say that's what I hear. That's what I think. And the people have spoken. That's again very typical of politicians today. If you want to redirect people's attention, this is maybe useful. It's not about the that they have mentioned. It's about the, for example, it's not about the money. It's about the investment. So that's a really nice way of redirecting people's attention. Let me be clear. This is a phrase that many politicians use. They use it all the time to reformulate what they want to say, even if it's to reformulate what they want to say away from a question that somebody has asked that they don't want to answer. Make no mistake. It means the same thing basically as let me be clear. But don't worry, it's not insulting if you say, you're not saying you've made a mistake. No. You're saying make no mistake. It means let me be clear. This is an important talking point. You see what I just did there? With all due respect, I highly recommend you use this. It's very, very respectful to use it. But it means that you are about to disagree with the person who is speaking to you, with all due respect. Demonstrating action. Okay, there are lots of different ways you can do that. We are doing a thorough review. Be careful with thorough. We're doing a thorough review. This may or may not be true, but it's very useful to say just in case. She or he and I had a very productive meeting. Again, this may or may not be true, but say it just in case, because it means that there is some movement, there's some action going on. There's progress that has been made. All options are on the table. I recall that Barack Obama used this all the time. And it means that, again, you are listening to what people say. We're not disregarding any possible choices right now. All options are on the table. It makes people feel like they are being listened to. This is a no-brainer, which is a common idiomatic expression, which means this is an easy problem. We could easily fix this for you. No problem. It's a no-brainer. Very common idiomatic expression. This is a window of opportunity. Yeah, that's a great phrase to use to say it's time for us to act. It's crunch time. This is very typical, means that we need to act fast. And if we don't, we will maybe risk missing that opportunity. It's decision day. It's the day to make that decision. We need to make a decision right now. That really helps if you've been in meetings and they just go on and on and nobody makes any decisions. You can use the phrases, it's crunch time, or it's decision day. Another great expression is it's in the pipeline. Means that we're working on it. This is a work in progress. This is something that is possibly going to happen in the future. And it's in the works is also a great synonym for it's in the pipeline. So I strongly recommend that you use that. Putting the responsibility on them. Oh, right. It's okay. This is where you're going to have to turn the table and say, all right, now it's your turn. Now it's your turn to act. Okay. It won't be easy, but it's the right thing to do. Be careful with that TH. It's the right thing to do. That means that, yeah, what you're suggesting or what I'm suggesting, it won't be easy, but it's the right thing to do. This is what Bill Clinton actually used when he said that he was going to raise taxes. It won't be easy, but it's the right thing to do. We are all in this together. That's a very typical phrase. Be careful with the together, but it's a very typical phrase to mean that what I'm suggesting we do is a group effort. We've got to get back on track, which means that perhaps you have been in a meeting or in a negotiation where things just go off the rails, or they go in a wrong direction, and you need to bring everybody back and get them to focus. A great expression to use is, we've got to get back on track, get that train going in the right direction. At the end of the day, this was probably in many linguistic research projects, this was found to be the most commonly used idiomatic expression in business, in a business corpus, which we say. And at the end of the day, which means basically the bottom line. It's at the end of the day. At the end of the day, this is what we need to do. This is when the sun sets and we turn off our computers and we turn everything off. What is our focus? What is the most important thing we need to focus on? So at the end of the day, we have to face the reality of the situation. It's a great expression and everybody uses it. Okay, we have to bite the bullet. This is very common in American English. I'm not going to go into the historical implications of it. I'll let you Google that. But we have to bite the bullet. The bullet is the from a gun, and we have to actually take action, even if it will be difficult. Very common expression. We need to tackle the real issues. This is very important. It's very general, but again, putting the responsibility on them is important, to tackle the real issues. The deadline is looming. It means the deadline is coming quick. It's coming fast, and we've got to act. It's crunch time. So you can combine these phrases. You can say the deadline is looming. It's crunch time. It's decision day. But I'm only asking for, you can say, I'm only asking for you to do this. That's if you're asking, like, I'm only asking for you to donate 5 cents a day, for example. Let's make this initiative about changing the way we, and then you choose the verb, changing the way we surf on the internet, or changing the way we use our time. It depends on what you are trying to convince people to do. If you want to avoid the blame in any particular situation, I'm just going to give you some phrases for that, just in case. I'm not justifying it, I'm explaining it. I don't intend to give a running commentary. It means that I'm not planning on telling you lots and lots and lots of information about it. We don't have time. We don't have time to talk about it, but we can talk about that at another time. And if somebody also says, well, you said this, well, you can also try the very common expression that politicians use all the time, which is, it was taken out of context. This is used very, very often to say that you were misunderstood. Now, just be careful with 2 words that I hear very, very often used, and they're misused in many, many cases. So, for example, if you use the word indeed, especially at the beginning of a sentence, be careful, because this can make you sound really condescending, actually. And patronizing, and you don't want that. You want to sound like you are understanding and empathetic. So just try not to use indeed, because again, it's not really, just don't use it. If you use it, even in writing, I suggest you to stop using it. Be careful with the word look at the beginning of a sentence. Many, many politicians do this, and it's a really bad habit. They say, look, what I'm trying to say is this. If you use it too much, it can sound like a vocal tic. And you may notice that politicians like Barack Obama, if you watch his videos, or even Pete Buttigieg, who was a presidential candidate in 2020, These two gentlemen used it a lot. So if you need to study their cases, you can. But they used look at the beginning of the sentence. It doesn't sound great if you use it too much. All right, once or twice is okay, but too much is all right. I've provided here a link for a really excellent article for you to read if you're interested in this. I hope this lecture helped you, especially with the pronunciation of these phrases, and I encourage you to use them as much as you want. Have fun.